Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatma Ashmal and I am from the Department of BS Biotechnology. Today I am here to talk to you about solar energy and conversion using artificial photosynthesis. Here we are discuss some points that are its introductions, fundamental of artificial photosynthesis, type of artificial photosynthesis, its advances, application, and its conclusion. Its introductions are here are the definition of artificial photosynthesis, that is, it is the process of converting solar energy into chemical form. It uses a combination of materials and nanotechnology to mimic the process of nature photosynthesis, in which sunlight is used to convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and usable energy such as glucose. Its importance is it is becoming increasingly important to use artificial photosynthesis powered by solar energy in order to address the growing global demand for energy and reduce emission of greenhouse gases. Artificial photosynthesis has great potential to reduce costs, increase efficiency, and decrease environmental impacts. It could be used to convert solar energy into a wide range of fuels and chemicals, providing an efficient source of energy. The overview of traditional solar cell technology is that traditional solar cell technology uses semiconductor materials such as silicon in order to convert sunlight into electricity. However, due to high cost of production and low efficiency, traditional solars have limited potential for widespread use. Additionally, other technology limitations can reduce the amount of power that is generated by traditional solar cells as well. Traditional solar cell technology, also known as photovoltaic technology, relies on the ability of certain materials to produce an electric current when exposed to sunlight. This is achieved by using a semiconductor materials such as crystalline silicon to absorb photons from the sunlight and release electrons, which can be harnessed to create electricity. While traditional PV technology has several advantages, here are the advantages are such as being able to generate electricity using a renewable and abundant energy source. It has some limitations. One limitation is that traditional PV cells can be expensive to produce as they often require high purity semiconductors, materials, and specialized manufacturing materials. Another limitation is that traditional PV cells have a relatively low efficiency rate, meaning that they only capture a small percentage of the solar energy that shines on them. Here are the limitations of traditional PV cells, that they can absorb only a small amount of solar energy that shines on its. Additionally, PV technology cannot produce electricity at night or during cloudy weather, so a storage system is required to ensure a steady supply. So here are the PV technology has a solar system that they absorb energy and store in it. Finally, traditional solar cells often have a relatively short lifespan and can degrade over time, requiring replacement. PV technology cannot produce electricity at night or during cloudy weather, so a storage system is required to ensure steady supply. Traditional solar cells often have a relatively short lifespan and can degrade over time, requiring replacement. PV technology as a promising way of achieving a sustainable future. Here are the artificial photosynthesis in potential alternative. So artificial photosynthesis system uses biomimetic system to duplicate the process of nature photosynthesis. They utilize copious resources of water, carbon dioxide, and sunlight to produce oxygen and energy-rich compounds and has potential to an alternative source of renewable energy. It can be utilized for transportation, for example, in certain cars to power homes or other applications to sustainable fossil fuel. It is an emerging technology, attracting interest for its potential to mimic plants by producing industrially useful compounds using carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. Here you can see the conversion of photosynthesis, artificial photosynthesis, and photochip pollutions. In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water convert into glucose and oxygen. Rather on the artificial photosynthesis, it converts carbon dioxide, carbon, hydrogens, oxygen, and hydrogen compounds and release carbon dioxide and oxygen. The sun provides the energy. Here they can store the solar energy and use later. Fundamentals of artificial photosynthesis. What are the fundamentals? The overview of nature photosynthesis process. The process of fundamental artificial photosynthesis is that life and the quality of the atmosphere today depend on photosynthesis. It is likely that green plants evolved long after the first living cells. When Earth was young, electrical storms and solar radiations probably provided the energy for the synthesis of complex molecules from abundant similar ones such as water, ammonia, and methane. The first living cell probably evolved from complex molecules production of polymers. For example, the accidental joining of the ammonia acid glycine and the fatty acid acetate may have formed complex organic molecules known as porphyrins. These molecules in turn may have evolved further into color molecules called pigments. For example, chlorophyll of green plant bacteria, chlorophyll of photosynthesis bacteria, and cytochromes, a group of pigments molecules essential in both photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Here are the light dependent reactions versus light independent reactions. What are the light dependent reactions? While there are many steps behind the process of photosynthesis, it can be broken down into two major stages. The light dependent reaction. It can take place within the thylakoid membrane and require a steady stream of sunlight, hence the name light dependent reactions. The chlorophyll absorbs energy from the light waves, which is converted into chemical energy into the form of molecules ATP and ADPH. Here are the light dependent reactions in which light excites chlorophyll electrons in photosystems and they become energized. The light on the photosystem is the 700p and the electrons excite, and in the photosystems too it's 6 HP. The light independent stage. It is also known as Calvin cycle. Take place in this stroma, the space between the thylakoid membrane and the chloroplast membranes, and does not require lights, hence the name light independent reaction. During this stage, energy from the ATP and NADPH molecules is used to assemble carbohydrate molecules like glucose from carbon dioxide. Here are the cellular metabolism. Glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen convert into 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules plus ATP that are the energy. Explanation of how artificial photosynthesis mimic natural photosynthesis. Artificial photosynthesis is the process by which artificial systems mimic the natural process of photosynthesis, which is how plants and other organisms capture sunlight and convert into the energy. Just as plants absorb carbon dioxide and water and use the energy from sunlight to produce glucose and oxygen, artificial photosynthesis system uses light absorbing material to produce hydrogen, fuel from water like electron transfer process that ultimately result in conversion of solar energy into fuel. Through this process, artificial photosynthesis mimics the way in which plants and other nature organisms transfer sunlight and water into a renewable and sustainable source of energy. However, many technical challenges remains which limits the efficiency and commercial viability of artificial photosynthesis. Here are the key components: light absorbing material, catalyst, and reactor. Light absorbing materials. These materials used as such as dyes or semiconductors are used to capture sunlight and absorb the light needed for conversion of water into hydrogen fuel. The catalysts are used to speed up the rate of the conversion process. In artificial photosynthesis, catalysts are needed to split the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Reactor. The reactor is the part of the system where the catalysts, allied materials, and waters are combined. Separation components. These components separate the hydrogen and oxygen gases producing during the reaction. In nature photosynthesis, the oxygen gas is released into the air as byproduct. But in artificial photosynthesis, it must be separate from hydrogen and capture the further uses. Additional components may be added depending on the specific design of an artificial photosynthesis system, but these three components are considered essential for the process to work. One of the main challenges to making artificial photosynthesis more practical lies in finding a suitable combination of light capturing and catalytic materials that are robust, efficient, and cost effective. Here are the types of artificial photosynthesis system. Dye sensitized solar cells. What are these? These are used as a light absorbing dyes to capture energy from sunlight and the electrons from the excited dyed molecules and then transfer to a semiconductor material. This converts the energy into a flow of electrons which can be used to generate electricity. So here are the second point is photoelectrochemical cells, PECS. It is used as photoelectrode, which is typically made up semiconductor materials, to separate electrons and positive holes when solar energy is captured. This can be used to drive a variety of chemical reactions, including water splitting to produce hydrogen fuel. Molecular catalyst system use compound containing specific metal complexes or biomimetic pigments as catalysts to drive the water splitting reactions. Overall, DSSCS are promising for certain applications where application generate is the primary objective, and PECS are often considered more promising for artificial photosynthesis applications as they directly produce hydrogen fuel from sunlight. Advances in artificial photosynthesis research. What are the research of artificial photosynthesis. Here, the latest development in the field, one major area of focus have been the development of new materials that are more efficient at capturing and converting solar energy. For example, researchers have developed a variety of new semiconductors material such as metals organic framework that are particularly effective at absorbing light and generating electrons. New materials and catalysts being studied. Catalysts are also a key area to focus. Researchers are exploring the use of new metals, organic and biomimetic catalysts that can optimize the conversion of light to fuel. Challenges. Here are the challenges is that challenge is developing production pathways and refining processes to maximize the amount of hydrogen fuel produced per unit of solar energy. This involves optimizing the reaction condition, the surface area of the catalyst, and overall water spillage efficiency of the system. What are the applications of artificial photosynthesis? Potential applications in energy conversion and storage. Artificial photosynthesis has a wide range of potential applications with energy conversion and storage being one of the most promising. By harnessing solar energy to produce hydrogen fuel, artificial photosynthesis could provide a clean and renewable energy source for a variety of applications, from powering vehicles to generating electricity. Potential for use in CO2 reduction and other chemical reactions. And other potential application in the use of artificial photosynthesis is for carbon dioxide reduction and other chemical reactions by using solar energy to derive chemical reaction. Artificial photosynthesis has the potential to play a role in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and mitigating the effect of climate change. Overall, the future outlook for artificial photosynthesis is promising. With ongoing research and development, it has the potential to provide a clean and renewable energy source that could have a significant impact on global energy use. While there are still challenges to be overcome, advances in material science, catalyst designs, and process energy are bringing this technology closer to commercial viability. Its conclusion is In conclusion, artificial photosynthesis is a promising technology with the potential to play a significant role in solar energy conversion and storage as well as in CO2 reduction and other chemical reactions. With continued research and development, it has the potential to revolutionize energy production and contribute to a more sustainable, low carbon future. Summary of key points. Here are the summary of artificial photosynthesis has the potential to convert sunlight into sustainable energy. It harnesses the power of photosynthesis, a process that plants use to turn sunlight into energy to create electrochemical reactions that generate electricity. It has the advantage of being more efficient than traditional solar cells and require fewer resources to build. Additionally, the technology would be more reliable and less expensive than traditional solar energy solutions. Although research development are still needed to optimize artificial photosynthesis for commercial use, the technology is already showing promise in its ability to produce low-cost renewable electricity with added benefits of using waste heat from the photovoltaic process to provide cooling. Thank you. I hope you like my presentation.